Alright everybody, welcome back to the TorCraft Cup online stage 4 for round 3. We're going to be getting into our losers semis, deciding who makes it into the money and who has to stay at home without more money than they booted up their computer with. I'm Master Dog, joining me is Seryph today, and I am excited to get into this.
I'm very excited as well. I mean, we're going to be deciding who's going home with money, like you said, who's going home crying like a small child.
Yep. And let's start off.
Yeah.
On the bottom, we've got our green Protoss player representing Team Extreme Supremacy. It is Believe.
We might have to change teams to Extreme Cheese after this. But in the north, our red Terran player, can he deal with the salt? Can he deal with the cheese? One step ahead, but will he end up one step behind? This is Seryph.
Yeah. And if you're wondering what we're talking about, we've got a probe, the very initial 6. One of them has left the base. They've ran away from home. And he's going to drop down a pylon behind the bushes outside the 3rd. Seryph is dropping down a supply depot. He's not going to be walling in, Cybert.
Oh my. Oh my, oh my, oh my. What this game is going to turn into is potentially just some zealots eating away at Seryph and killing him as he cries salt tears and goes to Reddit to make his post. But one way or the other, this game will probably not be lasting very long. 12-12 going to be coming out from Seryph.
It's going to be Reapers more than likely, especially with the fact that there is no wall-in, and that's terrible for Seryph. Reapers they can kite Zealots, sure, but they just won't be able to kill them in time, especially since it's a proxy initial gateway. And now, it is only going to be the single gateway, as the probe has returned home. It's decided, I've been a terrible child, I need to go back to my parents and apologize. I'll even bring them some minerals as a apology gift, but that gateway, it's done.
Okay, so here's the scouting SCV. It is going to see this gateway maybe a little bit later than he would have liked to, but he does know exactly what's going on. And of course, at this point, Believe also knows what is on the way. Now, it's kind of interesting. He did take that gas. For now, I'm assuming it's going to be into the faster factory because he did go for that Marine right out of the gate.
Yeah. Could also been that he was possibly poised to get a Reaper, and then he saw this, and he was like, nope, gonna make Marines. But actually, only gonna stop at the single Marine. Not sure if I agree with that choice. He's gonna land right back down, make a second Marine now. This Zealot is just trying to look for any kind of targets it can get. Trying to get rid of this bunker is the decision. That is the correct move, I'd have to say.
Yep, there's 2 Zealots now nearly in the base of Seryph. A 3rd one on the way. They're carving through these SCVs oh so quickly, down to just 11. Of course, he has mules to supplement, and as the 2nd Marine gets out, it doesn't get very many shots off before it starts taking swipes from this Zealot. There's the Zealot trying to get body blocked by the SCVs. A couple of more shots coming in from the Marines, and now the bunker is up, but another Zealot is now here, and some nice control from Believe, trying to keep his Zealots alive as long as humanly possible, and the micro from the Marines needs to be immaculate. There's some, relatively nice control, but the stutter step is good enough. The Marine survives, and the aggression has been held for now.
But we've got Stalkers on the way now, Cybert, and that's a hell of a lot of a different game compared to Zealots. These Stalkers, they're able to hit from afar. All they need is just some vision up that ramp, and I wouldn't be surprised if, Believe he just builds up a couple Stalkers, maybe gets a Mothership Core, I was going to say, and then flying it across, or the first point was build up a couple Stalkers and just run up that ramp and see what he can do.
Factory on the way, potentially for some Widow Mines. I don't know if I would advise Hellions in this situation, but Widow Mines could certainly change the tide one way or the other. We've all seen Widow Mines splash damage to friendly Terran units be absolutely devastating. I mean, in more than one scenario that has happened, so it is certainly something that could be a factor here. Seryph going to be dropping down his CC in the natural, but as you referenced, there's the Mothership Core heading out across the map.
It's going to be heading due north. We've got 3 Stalkers so far, and that is the magic number here for our Protoss friend Believe. And, actually, never mind. Just going to repose. Going to be getting up a 4th, possibly, letting his Mothership Core catch up to the rest of his army. And again, you need that high ground vision As, of course, your units can't physically attack without it, but
Ooh.
also because that way you can know what's going on. He doesn't know if there's like 3 bunkers now, if it's just the 1 bunker still, and that bunker's still not even repaired. With the Mothership Core now here, the vision has been granted.
And of course, potentially a time warp will be slowing down those SCVs on their way to that bunker. It doesn't actually get thrown down. Supply depot will be picked off, a nice supply block going down for our Terran player, but we also do need to call attention to the fact that a Stargate is on the way, and this is one heck of a late proxy Stargate on the way for Believe. Of course, an Oracle slipping into the main behind, like the Marines, which are worried about guarding the front, could be absolutely devastating.
Yep, and right now we've got that Widowmine trying to repose will now actually readjust itself so it can hit right to the bottom of the ramp, and even a little bit of the segments in the cliff there. Looks like SCV will come back and it will get killed off. And right now, these 3 SCVs, those are SCVs that could have been mining right now, but unfortunately getting stuck on repair duty and not actually repairing anymore. That bunker is not at full health.
All right. Oracle is going to be finishing up. It's going to be heading into the main base. The Widowmine is not actually burrowed. It could have gotten a fantastic shot off, but it gets eliminated. Now the SCVs are under direct assault. There is enough Marines here to push this away, but it's going to claim himself. Well, for now, it looks like it was just the 5 kills, but one of those is a Widowmine. If he can pick up any more, it's absolutely worth it.
And we've got a second Oracle behind this as well, and that's going to be so crucial, as just dealing constant aggression is what Believe needs right now to allow him to come back economically, as his second expansion was a bit delayed compared to Seryph's. And right now, it looks like the second Oracle is going to be finishing up soon. The first one was able to regain a lot of its energy back, and it looks like, we're actually going to be getting a Widowmine drop, but it's going to pass right over the Stargate and be scouted.
Yeah, it's going to be scouted, but also the Oracles are inside of that natural, chasing away the SCVs and the Mule. If he tries to respond with the Marines, then the 2 Oracles will actually be able to deal with them. Now, that Widowmine still needs to be kind of respected and dealt with. It's not going to be killing probably a crazy number of probes, but it is still dangerous.
Well, it's actually just kind of sitting outside the natural for right now. It's looking like it's going to get... It's going to drop in, and there is an Observer here as well, and it's actually going to get picked right back up. The Stalkers, with the Observer, just going to chase right after. There's nothing that Widowmine can do.
The Oracle's looking for more opportunities to get kills, as Seryph still on just sub-20 workers. He does have mules to supplement that income, which is quite nice, but he just doesn't have a lot. Finally, missile turret going to be coming down, and he's again trying to find those openings, those weaknesses. Oh, that was a bit of a mistake. Dropping the Widowmine on the low ground there. We'll be waddling in towards the main base. Mothership Core gets some nice shots off, but that is an all right hit. 3 probes, not great, but could be worse.
Yep, and right now it looks like the Oracles, they're kind of low on health at the moment. The Marines are still kind of chasing after them. These bunkers are empty. If those Stalkers came back, the Mothership Core could have easily gone straight up in the main ramp, but looks like that Medevac's going to head right back home. The Oracles are going to be getting a couple more kills over at the natural, which is still highly undefended.
The missile turret is, partially constructed there, which is great and all, but with these 2 Oracles, 18 kills between them. A lot of those are SCVs and Mules, but at least 1 Widowmine is also in that death count. And they're going to escape even a little bit longer. The higher health one does poke in. Does go down to the missile turret, overcommits a slight bit, but those Oracles have certainly paid for themselves.
Indeed they have, but, back at home, Believe he is not slowing down. He has got Blink on the way. He's got +1 armor on the way. He's got the Colossi production begun here. So now Believe he's done more than catch up with the gamble he took earlier. He is almost at 52 workers. He's 22 ahead of his opponent right now. He's double the army supply at the moment and Believe. I'd have to say there's not a better position he could be in right now.
Other than already having this game won, you are pretty much correct. He got nice use out of that Stargate. He doesn't even have to worry about that. We do have a 3rd CC going to be getting plopped on down, but yeah, that gateway is still powered. That gateway is still a warping point for or a warp in point because of that pylon. And of course, with more and more gateways finishing up back home, Believe could start to mount an assault rather soon.
Yep, and of course, the fact that the gateway is still powered, that means there is a pylon there. It looks like now he will finally go and deal with it. The Oracle, still alive, probably should heal up all of its shields before it decides to go back in. Looks like another pylon will get thrown down over on the west, just a bit south of where the original pylon was. The gateway is going to go down, but there are still 5 warp gates available to Believe right now. Both of our players a little supply blocked at the moment. Needs to get up a few more pylons, but with the forward pylons he's throwing down, he should be okay.
An absolutely terrifying Protoss army is going to be crashing down towards that 3rd base location. We've got 1 sentry, yeah, which can be quite useful, but the Colossi with Thermal Lance finished up, with the Stalkers getting ever-increasing numbers, just being so dangerous. They have Blink as well. There's the first stim as the first bit of Marines are carved away. The Blink forward to target down the Marauders and eliminate any real power potential of this army. Goodbye, good night, GG gets called, and Believe takes it.
Yep, and that's going to be game number 1 of our series here. Very well played by Believe. That gamble at the very beginning just paid off immensely. And I'd have to say it's because of the fact that a bit of a build order loss there for Seryph. He decided not to wall in. If he had walled in, it would have been so much better for defense because those Zealots would have never been able to have gotten in. All you would have had to worry about is pairing.
By the time that any of that stuff that was thrown down early, the infrastructure that was thrown down early on Seryph's side of the map, by the time that was taken out, which, you know, you have to always account like, okay, this is a bit of an investment for Believe, but like you talked about, he was able to get in there and do that damage. He was able to gain the worker lead in a substantial enough fashion that even with mules, there wasn't any real contest by the end of the game, and the early investment that you were referencing paid off in such a big way. I mean, it was so well played by Believe.
And it looks like Echo going to be game number 2's map. Echo, it's a bit more straightforward map. Definitely a lot less places to hide pylons, and proxy gateway is not as effective on this map. But you know, Believe and myself, we play a lot on the Korean server, and there's a lot of weird shenanigans that can go down on this map. So if Believe he wants to take game 2 with his momentum and just go for another bit of cheese, well, it could work.
Yeah, there aren't quite as many options as you mentioned for some of the devious things that can happen, but you also don't have that somewhat safe in-base natural. Instead, you've got the more exposed natural, and we all know how much Terran players love playing up against force fields and players who are good with force fields, and Believe has shown in some of the previous games he is good with force fields.
Yeah, but